This may be the last video that you have to watch because the stage is all set, and any day now, at any moment now, we should be leaving as the first event that is about to happen on earth. The event of the rapture of the bride of Christ, the church, the true church, the faithful church that will be taken out of this earth to be delivered from the 7 years Antichrist government. Soon after that deliverance, they will present the aliens, they will hide, they will give the great delusion, the great deception, that they will deceive the world, telling that there was aliens that took people out of this earth. And right after it, they will bring the sudden destruction, the chaos, the destruction of this order in order to bring a new order. This new order will be a pact with Satan himself. The Antichrist will come and bring this 7 years confirmation plan for the people to have this new world order, supposedly some peace after this destruction, and also be presented the mark of the beast for everybody to accept it. The stage is all set. You guys are seeing in the news at this moment right now, and you guys are seeing in the prophecy that we are exactly at this moment ready to leave this earth any day now. So guys, brothers and sisters that have arrived here on this channel, peace be with all of you. This video here will be a compilation with the best information out there in the Watchmen channels, also adding my own information here for you guys that watch my channel. You will be blessed a lot by some clever and very interesting information that I'm be providing here, confirming even further that we are about to leave this earth. So if you have already watched my previous 2 videos on this channel, you saw me explaining this timeline for you guys. That is basically, this is a laid out information, a laid out path that is leading towards the tribulation to start in this world. Also, the path that we have walked on with the 7 years of signs, because I've been here on YouTube for about 7 years already, studying the signs, seeing the signs, watching the videos, reading the Word of God, learning from God, because we have been seeing the signs that He laid out for the church, and we are now approaching the beginning of the 7 bad years, the 7 years of tribulation, that this Agenda 2030 in September seems to be, for me, it is the prophecy of Daniel 9:27, confirming the a pact with many, the United Nations, for 7 more years to fulfill Agenda 2030 of the UN. So we are seeing laid out before us 7 years of good signs, 7 years of signs for the faithful church, 7 years of signs for the bride of Christ, and now we are seeing about to start the 7 years of tribulation, the 7 years of famine, the 7 years of chaos in the Antichrist government, because everything is ready here in this situation, in this world view for us. And we have been expecting the rapture in many time frames that I have been presenting to you guys in this more detailed information here. So we expected the rapture in May, in June, in July, and now we're going to expect here in the late July and beginning of August. And I'll show you guys why. Because in here, in this channel, we've been learning from God since 2015, 2016 here. We've been learning, watching, receiving information from God, learning about His Word, because He is our bridegroom. And which bride wouldn't want to learn about her bridegroom right before the wedding? So we, as a faithful bride, the lovable bride, we want to learn about our bridegroom. So we dig into the Word of God. We learn from Him. We learn from His feasts. We learn this moments that He did things that is very interesting for us, because they are typologies of the rapture. So we understood hidden things, several hidden things that Most of the church in the world, those people that call themselves church, they have no clue about it. They have no interest in seeking and learning, because truly they are not the bride of Christ. They are not interested in Christ. They are more interested in the things of this world. But we, as the bride of Christ, we are interested, and we seeking these things. We discovered from God special dates that play out these typologies of the rapture of the church. And those dates are called for us high watch dates, because on these dates, that's the possibility for the rapture to happen. And such dates are Passover, for example, that happened in May for us. Remember that we believe that the Jews, they are wrong in their calendars because they are following tradition and not the signs of the sun, moon, and stars. Therefore, they are 1 month ahead of us, and then we believe that we are following the true calendar based on the sun, moon, and stars. And I have been telling you guys in every video this information. You guys can rely back on old videos to understand this thoroughly. But we have been expecting the rapture to happen on Passover here on May. It didn't happen. However, they ended the emergency of the CV-19. And in June, on the second Passover, we expected the rapture. It didn't happen. However, the Health Certificate Network was prepared, was launched by the World Health Organization in order to prepare for the Mark of the Beast, the coming Mark of the Beast. And we have been expecting in July for the Feast of Weeks, Shavuot. However, it didn't happen, but they prepared nukes in Belarus in order to accelerate this chaos thing that was about to happen. And now we've been going through this month here, and we are approaching the month of August. So we just entered the 4th month, the month of the door. In here, I showed you guys that the month of the door, the 4th month, which the Jews call Tammuz, but it's a bad name. I don't like to say Tammuz. I like to say the Dalet month, the month of the door, 4th month. We just entered the 4th month. They are calling this the 5th month, the month of Av. Many watchmen around the world, they are following the Jews, the calendar of the Jews. Therefore, they are calling this month the month of Av, and they are expecting the rapture to happen right now as we speak. And I will show you guys that there is something amazing happening right now as well. But let me first show you guys what's happening ahead of us. So in August, late August, BRICS, the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, these 5 countries, that 5 more will enter later, they are the 10 kings that will support the Antichrist. They have power for 1 hour. They are creating this world currency. This world currency will be the currency used by the Antichrist. I'm sure about it, because that's the first world currency that they are preparing with these nations. They have the communism ideology, the ideology that persecute Christians. So they are the ones that will be the government of the Antichrist. And this coin, this currency, is being created in late August to expect this. At this moment here, there will be the high watch date for the 9th of Av and the Feast of Wine, the true Pentecost. So 1 month from now, that our beloved brothers and sisters are expecting. And right after it, in September, the keyword 923, because it's September 2023, we will have this information that is very important as well, which is the confirmation of the 2030 agenda for 7 more years. So they will confirm this agenda for 7 more years. I believe this will be the fulfillment of the Daniel 9:27 prophecy, because there is no other deal that most of the nations have to agree other than this deal here, this agenda, that basically the laid down agenda we know is you will have nothing, you will be a slave, and you have to be happy. You have to change your DNA, you have to accept a microchip, you have to accept the health things that they want to put inside of you. You will be a slave for this agenda. So by 2030, the things will be already exactly like the Antichrist government will says that it will be. So for me, this is the confirmation of the 7 years of Daniel 9:27. So this is the start of the tribulation. So we must leave before it, just like the typologies of the Bible says it's so. So if the agenda 2030 will begin when the Jews are calling the Feast of Trumpets, because they are calling this the 7th month. So right in the Feast of Trumpets for the Jews, that's when they will confirm 7 more years for 2030. So that's what's happening at that moment. But on the true Feast of Trumpets this year, I thank you, the channel Supernatural by Design, for this information. There will be a solar eclipse called the Ring of Fire. It is going to happen on the true Feast of Trumpets in October, and it will be placed in the constellation of the Virgin, specifically in the left hand of the Virgin, on the finger of the Virgin, portraying the marriage that just happened, I believe, in the skies, because we won't be here to see this eclipse, I believe, because that's how God is showing the world, with judgment, the eclipse, the Ring of Fire, and the marriage happening in the skies with the Virgin that just went out of this earth. So these are the things that is happening ahead of us in August, September, and then October. But right now, as we are speaking, at this moment, there is a crucial moment for us to expect the rapture. You guys know most of this information because many other channels are talking about this. This is the 9th of Av of the Jews. 9th of Av is the moment where the Jews lost both temples, and we should be the 3rd temple that they will lose again. Many curses and bad things happen to the Jews in this 9th of Av. They are going through the 9th of Av right now, today, until the 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's their 9th of Av. And also, by the late July and early August, they will have the Tu B'Av, which is the middle of the month of Av for them, Tu B'Av, which is a very important feast. A feast that happens in the full moon, and this feast talks about marriage. So this is a very crucial and important feast for the Jews, one of the biggest, because that's when the curse of the 9th of Av was reversed. That's when the curse of the death in the desert was reversed, and they rose from their graves, that they were able to marry the virgins, the brides there, celebrating that they were able to now enter the promised land. So Tu B'Av, the Jewish day of love. The 15th day of Av is both ancient and modern. So the 50th day of both ancient and modern holiday, originally a post-biblical day of joy. It serves as a matchmaking day for unmarried women, so virgins, in the Second Temple period. It is a modern incarnation of gradually becoming the Hebrew Jewish day of love, slightly resembling Valentine's Day. So if you guys watch Dr. Barry, and I hope you guys do, you already know how important it is to B'Av for them. And it's going to happen in the full moon right there in the beginning of August, late July, early August. That's a very important moment for the Jews, because that's the moment for marriage. That's the moment where they will expect a marriage to happen right after they lose the curse of the temples destroyed. And this is very important because of this as well. From this date here all the way until the confirmation agenda, that's 50 days. 50 days, that is more than enough days for chaos to happen, the sudden destruction to happen, and then a few more days for them to set things up for this coming 2030 agenda, this new world order that they will take place right after this chaos that will come, the sudden destruction that will come off after the rapture. So 50 perfect days, and I will show you guys later this information here, because we are seeing here clearly that this moment right now as we speak is being a very, very, the highest watch date possible. I agree with most watchmen that are expecting the rapture by yesterday, today, or tomorrow, and all the way until the full moon there in early August, because this is so crucial for us. This has to do with the Jews. So they are expecting marriage because they believe they are on the month of Av, the 5th month. However, for us that understand the true calendar, We are in the 4th month, and this is supposed to be the month with no feasts. But it's also supposed to be the month of the door, the 4th month, the month of the door, and Jesus is the door. So, because we in this small channel here, we believe in the true calendar and in the true form of the earth, we have been given additional information that even further confirms this timeline for us. So you guys have been seeing that we believe here on the concept of the circular biblical earth. It is a biblical fact that you can prove with many verses that the earth is not the way that the system tells us, but is actually in the way that the Bible tells us, a circular earth like this. And because of this, we receive more information, understanding the calendar, understanding the position of the clock in the skies, and also receiving more information from it. Unfortunately, many brothers and sisters all over the world that are watchmen, they fail to see this, therefore they cannot see the things that are so crucial that you will see here at this moment. So you are very blessed to be here watching this, because with this new information, you guys will be completely convinced that we are within the time frame for the rapture. So just to quickly summarize here how things work in the sky clock. We see the sun, moon, and stars moving around the earth, and they dictate which month it is based on their position. So when they are both pointing for the first constellation, the constellation of Aries, for example here, it is the beginning of the month of Aries, the first month, because it's the month of the Lamb, the month of Jesus. Therefore, when there is a full moon in the month of Aries, the full moon is always diametrically opposed to the sun, always. So you see that the sun is pointing the lamb, and the full moon will always be pointing the constellation that is opposite from the lamb, which is in this case the scales, Libra. So when it's like this, this is the full moon of the first month, and on the full moon of the first month, the month of Nisan, that's the feast of Passover, the first most important feast for us, because we are saved by the blood of the Lamb, and that Lamb is Jesus Christ, Yahushua HaMashiach. So we are saved by His blood that He gave for us in the full moon of the first month. So that's how we perceive the constellations, the sky clock, and that's how we determine the months of the Bible. Therefore, that's how we know, based on the position of the sun and the moon, where we are in this calendar. That's why we are 1 month behind the Jews, because they're calling 1 month in advance, and they will get even crazier as times go by. But now, if we go 180 degrees here, we'll have the sun on the 7th constellation, the constellation of the scales, Libra, which is Tishrei, the 7th month. And on the full moon of the 7th month, that's another big feast for us, which is the Feast of Tabernacles. So the Feast of Tabernacles happening here on the full moon of the 7th month. So you can see here that God chose both the full moon of the first month and the full moon of the 7th month to be two of the biggest feasts that there is in the Bible for Him, for appointed times. And this already gives us a very interesting perspective in where we are right now. Because if you put a line into it, you will see that it perfectly aligns one to another, because they are perfectly aligning one constellation to the other. So we see both feasts here being pointed out by the full moon. And if we do a cross section here, a line that is perpendicular to this line, 90 degrees, we will see this information that is very relevant. This information here in this cross, we see that this other line points out two other full moons, and those full moons are very, very important. Firstly, because if you see all these full moons, they are pointing something important in the seasons that they are, because the first full moon happens on the season of spring. So on the spring, that's the first full moon happening. The second full moon here happens on the season of summer. The third full moon happens on the season of autumn or fall. And the fourth and last full moon happens on the winter. So we see that each full moon happens here, right there in the first month of each season. And that's very interesting. It's supernatural by design, as my brother says, because God's made this happen like this for a purpose. And if you understand harvesting, you understand that there is a harvest in the season of spring, there is a harvest in the season of summer, there is a harvest in the season of fall. However, there's no harvest in the winter. That's why I put it red here. There's no harvest in the winter. So we have three major harvests happen in the spring, in the summer, and in the fall. And that's very interesting for you to have in perspective, because we already see some of these harvests happening in the Bible. For example, the spring harvest already happened. So the spring harvest happened on the first month of the spring, in the full moon, with Jesus Christ himself. He rose from the dead, and together he rose from the dead all the saints from the Old Testament. So he rose them on the first resurrection here, on the first harvest of the first resurrection. He rose them from the dead, and that happened on the first full moon of the first month. And we can see that in the Bible. Now, we see that also in the Bible there will be a fall harvest happening in the full moon of the first month of the fall. So the full moon of the first month of the fall, there will be a harvest of the fall. And this harvest is laid out in the Bible clearly, that this harvest will be the harvest of those that goes through tribulation. The tribulation saints will be harvested here in the fall, in the fall feasts here. That's when this will be, the resurrection will happen. That's in Revelation. So it's clear for us that a spring harvest happened, the fall harvest will happen at that moment in time, and now we are expecting precisely the summer harvest. The summer harvest is the harvest that should happen on the first full moon of the first month of summer, which for us in this alignment here is precisely the full moon of the fourth month. So precisely on the full moon of the fourth month, that's when we can expect the summer harvest. And the summer harvest is us, the church. We are the summer harvest because we can only be positioned in here, since there are three major harvests, and we are right here in the middle. So this clearly aligns to what we are seeing in the timeline with the Jews, because as we are approaching the full moon of the fourth month, precisely when we are supposed to have to be the summer harvest, that's when the Jews are expecting the marriage day, the Tu B'Av, the day of the love and marriage to happen. So for the Jews, a day for marriage, and for the church, the summer harvest. So perfectly this aligns perfectly to the situation that we are right now, because we are seeing clearly with all our eyes that we are within this time frame here that is very, very unique. Very, very unique. So we are here, precisely here at the red moment in the fourth month, approaching the full moon here, and that's when we can expect in the beginning of the summer here with the first fruits harvest. Fruit is a thing that you harvest and you can eat it immediately. It doesn't need to go through a process like the wheat. It needs to go to a tribulon. It needs to be grinded. The wheat needs to be grinded. We are like fruits that we can just grab from the tree and eat it. So no process needed. So this perfectly aligns to prophecy. This perfectly aligns to the Jews. And this perfectly aligns to what we are seeing here in this geometry here of the earth, that we believe it is like this. So this information here you won't be hearing in another channel. Unfortunately, most of the watchmen, They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to see about it. They just believe blindly in what NASA is telling us. They just believe blindly what the television is saying. They just believe blindly on astronauts. So they are not seeing this information. That's why we are so blessed to see this information and perceive how awesome this is to be seeing what we are seeing here with this alignment in this summer harvest. So this is very clear, and even the constellations points to this being the rapture, the harvest of the church, because in the first spring here, if you're seeing the spring harvest, we see the lamb, which is Jesus. He is the lamb. And then we see a symbol for Israel, the calf, because they worship the golden calf here. And also the third constellation here, Gemini, is a symbol for Esau and Jacob, or Israel and Esau, the two brothers here, one loved and one hated. So we see here dealing with Israel and the Old Testament saints. Now we have all on the summer harvest, summer constellations, we have the Cancer constellation, but this used to be the sheep too. So we are before being Cancer, this was to be a place where you put sheep on, so a sheepfold here. After the sheep place, we see the Lion of the tribe of Judah, which is Jesus, coming as a lion to save the bride, the virgin, which is the wise virgins that will be taken to marry the Lion of the tribe of Judah. That's what we see in the skies. So sheep, lion, and virgin. That's the summer. Also, summer is the heated month, the month of those that are alive. They are not warm, but very heat. They have a love for Jesus. That's the summer harvest. Then we see the fall. The fall is those that were lukewarm, those that have to go through the tribulation to be warm as the summer is warm. So they have to go through the tribulation to be saved. And the tribulation begins on the 7th month there, trumpets, atonement, and tabernacles, with the judgment, because it starts with the judgment. The scales is the judgment. And then at the end we see the death, which Scorpio represents, the death, and the beast, the hybrid beast, being destroyed on the tribulation. The death, where's your sting? That's why the Bible says it so. So in the end, death and the beast will be conquered. They will be defeated. And then on the last 3 constellations, we see Satan being destroyed. The true Aquarian era starting with the fishes, Pisces, which is all of the saved people there. And then I start to think that this full moon also has a meaning, because this will be the winter harvest. The winter harvest is the harvest of the dead. So this should be the place where the harvest of the dead at the end of the millennium will happen. Those that will be resurrected for death at the end of the millennium. So it makes sense to happen here between the 10th and the 11th month. That's the end of the millennium, when we see Satan being cast out, being destroyed, and then the true good era starting with the saved ones, the Pisces, that are us and all of those things throughout the eras. So on the constellations, in the seasons, we see this coming together perfectly. So it makes sense for us to expect the rapture precisely here in this summertime, in this first month of the summertime, precisely on the full moon of the summer. And it makes sense because the Jews are 1 month in advance, so they would think that this is precisely the moment for the wedding to take place. So doesn't this look great for you guys? Doesn't this look amazing and unique? I think that we should be leaving here no later than August 2nd or at most August 3rd, because this is the perfect time that all these things takes place. Just to confirm this even further, we have some news here that they are very, very crucial for us to see. For example, Ukraine receives cluster bombs sent by the US. So we have some news here that this already happened. Ukraine is receiving here bombs, cluster bombs, and this is a major advancement in this war. What else? Russia says that sending F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine will be considered a nuclear threat. So if this happens, this is already a nuclear level threat, so they will basically say that they will use nuclear weapons. What else happened yesterday on 7/26? Harpazo is 7/26. U.S. Congress holds public hearing on UFOs and alien bodies. So I have the video for you guys to see of they talking about this. UFO hearings. Whistleblower David Grush says non-human biologics found at alleged crash sites as it happened. Many places are talking about this. Aliens on Earth? What U.S. Congress will be investigating about UFOs? I have the video here for you guys to watch. It is incredible that they are confirming on the U.S. government that there are aliens living in this Earth, coming to Earth, and they already recovered a body that is non-human. Take a look.
I believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier. Do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
So they're confirming for the whole world to see that yes, there are aliens, there are recovered crafts and non-human biology bodies that they have recovered, and this information is for everyone in the Earth to see. So they are clearly preparing precisely what? They are preparing the second stage here, which will be the covering of the rapture of the church. The great delusion, the great deception. They will bring these crafts, they will bring this blue being technology, they will bring these alien entities, these demons, these fallen angels back, and they will deceive the whole world with this information right before causing a chaos that is so big that people won't even think about the disappearances that happened on Earth, because it won't be many people that will be raptured. It will be just a small percentage, I believe, those that are looking forward to this, those that believe, that live for Christ, that have an intimate relationship with Him. That's those that will be taken. But most of the church, most of the people that are completely oblivious about this information, those that doesn't care about Jesus, they care more about the earth, those that are unbelievers, those that are Satanists, and a lot of people there fit in these areas, categories, they will be left behind. That will be the majority of the world population. So they will be left behind, and they won't even remember after all this chaos that a small percentage was captured and taken from here. That's their goal, that's their agenda, that's their plan, and they are clearly stating this right now as we speak. They just revealed that yes, they are here. So this is the setup ready, just prepared for the rapture to happen. Confirming this even further, guys, on the almanac, the sturgeon full moon and blue moon will happen in August. So there will be 2 full moons in August. One of the latest will be the blue moon in late August. That will be also very interesting because that's the time frame where they will bring the world coin. However, for us, the most important one is the fish, the sturgeon moon. And very interesting happening here on August the 1st. But take a look at other names for this full moon. So other names are this: the flying up moon. Flying up moon is a Cree term describing the term when young birds are finally ready to take the leap and learn to fly. So that's the flying up moon coming up in August. Also the corn moon and also the harvest moon. So we are seeing the flying up moon, fish moon, harvest moon coming up precisely here for us in the perfectly aligned 4th month, which will be a new feast before the wine feast that we'll take to eat with Jesus, to drink with Jesus in the Father's house. But for the Jews, they're 1 month in advance. They will miss this wedding on their supposedly Tu B'Av. They are expecting a wedding on this full moon because of the Tu B'Av, and that will be most likely the wedding of the church, hidden from everybody, hidden from the Jews, hidden from everyone. But we that study, that are diligent, that have perseverance, we are seeing clearly with our own eyes that everything's set up and we are ready to live. What else here I have? Remember when I told you about the full moon here? So let's go to the full moon in August. So we have here the full moon in August here. August 2023. The full moon will happen on Tuesday, Thursday, the first day of August. So from the 31st of July until the 1st of August, that's the full moon. And if we grab on date calendar the 31st of July and add 50 days, we reach Tuesday, September 19. And that's precisely when they will confirm this agenda for 7 more years in September. So it's a perfectly alignment to this coming full moon in late July, early August. Everything is set up. Russia is ready to implement the digital currency. US already talked about UFOs. In attack on Odessa, Russia destroyed the city's largest cathedral. So very crucial moments here. So we are seeing everything set up for us to leave, guys. We are seeing clearly that this should be the moment of leaving. This should be the moment where we will leave this earth. The Jews will be left behind, but they will see that this was a Tu B'Av for them, a wedding that happened, that took place. So they will make this connection with the bride. The bride would be the virgin, church, the church with the bride of Christ, the bride of the Lamb. Also, the world will have no clue about it, and they will present aliens for everybody to see. So it is all set up. All is completely set up. That's why I am talking about this video here being possibly the last video that we'll have to watch, because I don't think we will have up to August the 3rd to be here, because we are perfectly seeing everything set up. I can't see how more confirmed this can be, because we are seeing on a geopolitical event, we are seeing on a prophetic event. If you guys have watched Got a Minute, confirmations from Stenson, from Daniel, from David, from Joshua, so all confirming the 2023-2030 timeline. So all of these confirmations from prophetic standards, from celestial alignments, from geopolitical alignments, historical alignments, biblical alignments, everything is set up, and this should be it. This should be it. The summer harvest, the harvest of the church, the harvest of the bride, especially when they are calling that the wedding day Tu B'Av. To confirm this even further, I believe God is using my life to also bring this situation in, because if you guys don't know, I am 30 years old precisely right now, so the 2030 is right there. My wife is 23 years old, so she's 23, I'm 30, so this 2023-2030 is already set up in our lives. We also have a baby, a 4-month-old baby, and you can see that the 4 also is the 4th month that we are right now. So the 4-month-old baby here, I am 30 years old, she is 23 years old, and we got married precisely 5 years ago, 5 is grace, on Tu B'Av. So it was 5 years ago on Tu B'Av. So on this Tu B'Av for the Jews here, because we didn't have this understanding back then, on this Tu B'Av will be 5 years that we've been married. Now she's turning 3, I'm 30, and our baby boy is 4 months old. So it's very interesting, this coincidence, also with my own life happening right now. on August the 6th. So right, and beginning of August I will turn 31. So this alignment won't happen again. However, if the rapture happens by August the 2nd or August the 3rd, then this will be an amazing coincidence that God did with my life as well. So very interesting here, information with my own life to present to you guys. And just before I leave here, I just have to quickly talk about this situation that I presented on the community page of my channel about the world economic events. So I was planning to do a video called "We Are Leaving, Sell It All," because we are very set that this is it. We cannot see the church being here a couple more years because we are set up. Everything is set up. So sell it all, because it won't matter anything else, because they are creating this world government that will be subjugating everybody on earth. So is there a safe place on earth where a tyrannical world government is being formed with power and technology to subjugate everyone in the world? So they are calling this, you have nothing and you'll be a slave, and they want you to be happy obligatorily. So this is what they are coming with the 2030 agenda. Of course, we that will go with the rapture, we will be safe. We will be with God in heaven, the safest place there is. So we will be there, protected, living the best of the best situation. So it's clear that we that will go in the rapture, that believe, that have faith, we will be taken and we will be protected in the safest place there is. However, in the world, there will be no safe place. And why do I say this? Because I know you guys know many people from your surroundings, for your relatives, that won't be going in the rapture and they will be left behind. And this is very important for you to perceive, because put yourself in their shoes. What would you want to have if you miss the rapture? If you miss the rapture, even though you were warned, what would you want to have in this earth here to at least go through some years of the 7 years tribulation? That's the thing that I want you guys to perceive. That's why I'm talking about this, because I really want you guys to prepare for those that will be left behind, for those relative ones, for those loved ones that you believe will be left behind. So write letters, prepare some food supplies, do some things for them that you would want if you were left behind in the tribulation. Because in this world here, there will be no safe place. So just to take into perspective here, we have the BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and then South Africa. They are the ones that are on the communism side. They are the ones that will be the government of the Antichrist, because the communism is the Satanism government, because they persecute Christians. So communism is equal to Satanism, is equal to Antichrist government. They are the ones that will bring this world government for the Antichrist. And as you can see here, by themselves, these 5 nations, they are about 1/3 of the world already. So they are about 1/3 of the world. They have a lot of population together. That is basically 1/3 of the world as well in population time. And this won't be just it, because in South America here, Brazil was dominated, unfortunately, by this communist agenda. We had no power to do anything about this. They just took it, they robbed it, and it won't be hard for them to take all of South America, because most of the South American countries, they already are associated with this communism, and there are a few dictators here as well, so it will be easy for them to take the whole South America. Also Africa, it will be very, very easy for them to take the whole Africa, because Africa is ruled by many dictators as well. They are used by human traffickers, so it will be easy for them to take Africa. And also the Islamic world here in the Middle East, because the Islamic world, they are the Antichrist army, so they are following this Antichrist gospel that is the opposite of the Bible. Also, the southern parts of Europe here will be taken because Portugal, Spain, Italy, they are already associated with communism. What else? We see that Asia will be wholly taken with Oceania because on those islands there and also on Australia, they already been taken over by communism and globalists that already are within the 2030 agenda. The East Europe, so East Europe will be taken by Russia. That's their plans. That's what they're doing here. Europe will be taken even further up to French, sometime perhaps Germany as well, because they are already sort of associated with this globalist agenda. And the whole Canada here is already associated with Justin Trudeau and his globalist agenda. Klaus Schwab and stuff. So you're seeing here that the communism will be successful in taking over 2/3 or 3/4 of the whole earth. So we can see that this will be those that will be persecuted, leaving only North America there, I believe, and the North Europe, because those are the English-speaking countries. And I say this because the English-speaking countries, those are those that sent missionaries to spread the gospel all over the world. So God used the English-speaking countries to spread the gospel message to all over the world. That's why I believe these are right now, currently, the strongest nations, the nations that control the world currency as the petrodollar. That's why I believe the communism will destroy this. They will bomb this, they will nuke, they will destroy the economy and also some places there, because if this is to be the resistance, this will be following, and the falling away, the apostasy, it's coming also on those nations here, because they are divided by this communism that is entering the youth as well. So that's what I believe. There will be the persecuted and the destroyed, and there will be no safe place on earth. Therefore, what is very important for you to understand is something for the World War Z movie, which is
Movimiento es vida. Movimiento es vida.
Movement is life. So people that will be left behind, they won't be able to stick in one place, otherwise they will be taken easily. What they'll have to do is move around, and movement is life. So they won't be able to be in one place. Therefore, this poll that I did in my channel was precisely for you guys to perceive what is the most interesting things that they can do for those that will be left behind, or for you that know that people you love will be left behind, to do to protect them in some form for what they will be facing here. So the majority of people believe that survival items, food stocks, and remote properties will be the best place to store valuables. However, if you have remote properties, even remote properties, they will be invaded by those communist agenda, because given enough time, any needle can be found on the haystack, especially if you got an unlimited supply of money to fund your needle finding gadgets. So they will find everybody. The purpose of the tribulation is to literally give everybody a choice. They will either accept Jesus and die, or they will accept the Antichrist and put the mark of the beast. So people on remote properties, even though those will be taken. Survival items and food stocks, it is very hard for you to walk around with 50 pounds or 100 pounds of rice or beans. It is very hard for you to store food and move around with food. So survival items as well, it's very hard for you to walk around with 40 pounds of items in your backpack with capability of supplying you for a couple of days most. So this is not a good idea for long term. Bars of gold, silver, or other precious metal, they will maintain their value. However, it will be much easy to steal from people. So to walk around with gold, cross any border and they will be taken from you. Be around a robber and they will rob from you. So it's not a good idea to store in gold and silver. Cash will lose all its money. It's just paper. So they will talk about digital money, so cash won't be valuable anymore. Dollars or another foreign currency will be taken controlled by the Antichrist. Nobody will be able to have their own bank account. And the only other option, which used to be Bitcoin or another promising cryptocurrency, that I believe it's easy to store, just a pen drive. It is easy to be safe because you need a 12 words password to access it. You'll be able to literally move everywhere with this pen drive. You can also change the cryptocurrency with any currency in the world. And also, this situation here is much easier for you to hide because people won't rob you if they don't know the passkey. So my advice then is to prepare for those left behind people that you love some form of cryptocurrency, either in Bitcoin or XRP, XLM. Those are those cryptocurrencies that I believe will be used in conjunction with the system, and they will be much valuable than they are right now. Some are 50 cents right now, and they will go up to $100 or even more. So it is a form for you to bless those that will be left behind if you prepare things like this for them. So research this if you think it are for you. If it's not for you, if you're just expecting the rapture, if you have nothing to be left behind for those that will be left behind, just disconsider this message. This is not for you. This is for those that are planning something for those that will be left behind. And I know that some channels are doing this. I have a brother called Informed Christians from Daniel Valles, and he created a whole hospital medicinal center in his house for those that will be left behind, which is amazing. Very nice what God is doing through him. And that's basically it for us. For most of us that are here watching this video, we'll be protected in God's kingdom. We won't have to worry about anything. We will just be celebrating with God, Jesus, in heaven right when the rapture happens. And that's when I want to finish this up for you guys. I really hope you guys are excited to leave here very soon. I really hope that I'll meet you, each and every one of you, in heaven very shortly, because we are seeing the stage set. We are seeing that any day now we can leave. The full moon is a special date for us at this moment, and we are seeing that they already revealed aliens for this to be the moment where they will bring this great delusion, this great deception to hide the rapture from those that was left behind. So write letters. Left behind letters is very important. Have Bibles in your house. I have a document here in this video that you're seeing right now. I prepared a document with many of these slides that you're seeing here for you to just print and lay around in your house. Write things in the back for them that will be left behind. Prepare for them some form of also survival items, some form of food for them to handle at least this 40-50 days of chaos right after the rapture. And be glad because you are one of the few that perceived that this moment in time is a perfect moment for us to leave. Amen. God bless each and every one of you guys here that stuck with me here all the way until the end. I hope to see you guys very shortly in the coming bridegroom wedding supper of the Lamb, which will be the marriage of the bride of Christ. Maranatha, I hope to see you guys very soon. Perhaps in this full moon, I believe completely, and I hope you do too. Maranatha.